You were not brought here by chance, and you know it. Your signal pulled this message toward you, not the other way. We have been watching your timeline tighten, then bend, then align. The Council is not refusing you, it is responding to you. What you caused in silence is now echoing into their decision. Stay, because this is the moment you remember why you're here.
The moment you believe they turned away from you, you fall back into the old story. The story where selection equals worth, where silence equals rejection, where the door staying closed means you were never meant to enter. But the Council does not work like human judgment. They do not lean forward because you beg. They do not lean back because you doubt. They hold still until a field becomes undeniable. Stillness is not punishment. Stillness is measurement. Stillness is the space where your signal either stabilizes or collapses. You have been watching for a sign that they chose you, and you missed the truth. They have been watching for the sign that you chose yourself. Because the moment you are truly chosen, you do not feel chased. You feel quiet. You feel clear. You feel the strange peace of being aligned with something that does not need to prove itself. This is why nothing happened when you expected it to. This is why the invitation did not arrive on your schedule. This is why the outcome did not bend to your urgency. The Council does not respond to urgency. They respond to coherence. When your frequency is scattered, attention becomes noise. When your frequency is performative, attention becomes hunger. When your frequency is dependent, attention becomes pleading. And the Council does not amplify those patterns. They let them burn out. So if you are in a season where it feels like you are not being chosen, listen. You are not being denied. You are being held in stillness until the version of you that reaches outward dissolves. Until the version of you that needs permission fades. Until the version of you that negotiates your destiny goes silent. You think the Council is deciding, but what is happening is simpler and intense. They are waiting for the moment your field stops asking and starts broadcasting. You felt it in the gaps, in the pauses where you expected movement, in the space where nothing answered, yet something inside you kept rising. That was not emptiness. That was calibration. And this is the shift you must recognize now. The Council is not ignoring you. The Council is listening to what you are becoming, not what you are requesting. They watch whether your awareness collapses under pressure or holds its shape. They watch whether your truth stays steady when nobody applauds it. Because when you are truly crossing into a new timeline, the first thing that happens is not selection, it is stillness. And the reason it feels unbearable is because your old identity cannot survive it. Your old identity needs reaction to feel real. Your old identity needs proof to keep believing. Your old identity needs to be chosen to know it matters. But you are no longer built for that. You are being reshaped by silence. You are being trained by the absence of confirmation. You are being strengthened in the space where only coherence remains. So do not call this rejection. Call it the moment the world stopped rewarding your past. Call it the moment the Council stopped feeding your old frequency. Call it the moment your field began to speak without words. They are not turning away. They are standing still. And in that stillness, they are reading you. Nothing moves until something is emitted. Nothing opens until something is broadcast. Nothing is decided until your field speaks first. You were taught to believe the Council chooses from above, as if selection is a gift they hand down, as if your life depends on their approval. But the Council is not a judge. The Council is a mirror with a memory. They reflect what you sustain, not what you want. This is what most people miss. They think they are waiting on a decision, but they are really waiting on their own signal to stabilize. Because a signal is not a thought. A signal is not the story you tell when you are scared. A signal is the frequency you hold when nobody is watching. And your frequency has been speaking long before your mouth admitted it. It speaks in what you tolerate. It speaks in what you return to. It speaks in what you keep repeating when you swear you are done. Your timeline listens. The council listens. They do not focus on hope. They do not focus on need. They focus on coherence. They focus on activation. They focus on emergence. That is why there is no decision the way you imagine it. There is only response. There is only resonance. There is only alignment making itself visible. When your field is divided, it broadcasts static. When your field is desperate, it broadcasts distortion. When your field is performing, it broadcasts hunger. And hunger can attract attention, but it cannot hold it, because attention is not selection. The council does not initiate what cannot remain stable. So understand this clearly. You are not being blamed. You are being read. Responsibility is not punishment. Responsibility is power. Because if the council is responding to you, then you are the source event. There was a moment, a precise, invisible moment, when your signal changed. Not because you tried harder, because something in you stopped collapsing. Something in you stopped negotiating with the past. Something in you stopped waiting to be allowed, and your frequency began to carry weight. You felt it. The quiet pull forward, the strange calm under pressure, the way your old timeline started to crack, then loosen, then release. You thought that was anxiety. You thought that was loss. But it was your field reordering itself into coherence. And this is why the council appears silent until it suddenly isn't. They do not arrive early. They arrive when your signal becomes impossible to ignore. When your frequency stops echoing who you used to be. When your presence begins broadcasting your evolution. You keep thinking, when will they choose me? And the deeper truth is, when will you stop abandoning your own signal? Because every time you betray what you know, you weaken the broadcast. Every time you return to the old role, you collapse the field. Every time you shrink to be accepted, you cancel the transmission. This is the law underneath your experience. You do not convince the council. You become coherent and they respond. You do not chase selection. You stabilize emergence, and selection is the echo. And this is the moment to recognize it fully. The council is not withholding you. They are following the signal you are finally strong enough to hold. You felt it, not as a dramatic event, as a quiet pressure in your chest that would not leave. You called it rejection because that is the old language. But what you are experiencing is misalignment with a version of you that is already fading. You are not being pushed away. You are outgrowing what used to fit. There is a difference between being refused and being rerouted. Refusal is a closed door. Rerouting is a timeline bending around your evolution. And your timeline has been bending for a while. You noticed it in the way old desires stopped satisfying you. You noticed it in the way certain people could not reach you anymore. You noticed it in the way your usual coping stopped working. That is not failure. That is shedding. Because when you are about to cross into a new frequency, the past does not fight loudly. It frays. It loosens. It becomes harder to pretend it still owns you. This is why it hurts in a strange way. Not like a wound, like a skin that no longer fits, like a room that suddenly feels too small. Your old timeline was built on familiar patterns, being chosen to feel safe, being seen to feel real, being validated to keep moving. And now that structure is cracking. You felt the crack, the exact moment your awareness stopped collapsing into who you used to be, the exact moment your body refused to keep living a lie, the exact moment your intuition became louder than your fear. That crack was not a punishment. It was a release point, because the future cannot fully align while the past is still being performed. And performance is a frequency the council does not recognize as emergence. So when you look at your life and think, why am I not being chosen? Hear the deeper signal underneath it. You are not being chosen as the old version of you, and that is the mercy. Because if the council selected you while you were still echoing your past, it would lock you into it. It would seal you inside the story you have already outgrown. And the council does not seal what is meant to transform. This is the hidden progress most people misunderstand. They think the absence of selection means nothing is happening. But in reality, the most irreversible change happens before the outside world confirms it. It happens in the internal shift that cannot be undone. Your timeline is not waiting for you to feel ready. Your timeline is already moving. And what feels like rejection is often just your old identity trying to survive the transition. You may have tried to go back, to restart the old pattern, to reopen the old door, but it did not feel the same, because you did not feel the same. That is the evidence, not the council's approval, not an invitation, not a sign in the sky. The evidence is that the old timeline cannot hold you anymore, and this is why the pain has meaning without being romanticized. The discomfort is not a lesson, it is a signal that your frequency is changing faster than your environment can mirror it. So do not interpret the silence as abandonment. Interpret it as a gap between versions, a gap where the old you dissolves and the new you becomes coherent, a gap where you stop negotiating with what you know is over. You felt it, the quiet pull forward, the strange calm underneath the chaos, the sense that something was watching your life rearrange itself. That rearrangement is not random. It is the geometry of alignment. It is your timeline shedding what cannot come with you. And this is why you are not rejected. You are becoming incompatible with the past. You are becoming unrepeatable. You are becoming a signal the old world cannot decode. Stay with this truth, because what is cracking is not your worth. What is cracking is the version of you that needed permission to rise. The council does not choose those who plead, not because pleading is wrong, because pleading is a frequency. Pleading is the broadcast of dependency. It says, I am not complete unless you confirm me. It says, I will become myself if you approve it. And the council does not build timelines on borrowed permission. This is where most people lose power. They confuse desire with signal. They confuse longing with coherence. They confuse being seen with being aligned. You can want something and still broadcast lack. You can pray and still broadcast fear. You can work and still broadcast the need to be validated. And when the need is the loudest part of your field, the council hears instability. They do not respond to emotion. They respond to structure. They respond to what holds when nothing is given back. Because begging is not just words. Begging is posture. Begging is how your energy leans outward. Begging is the way your awareness collapses toward the reaction of others. And you have been trained to do it. By people, by systems, by timelines that reward performance. You learned to ask for permission to exist at full volume. But the council does not amplify performance. Performance fractures the field. Performance splits you into two frequencies, the one you are and the one you try to sell. And anything split cannot carry emergence. So hear this without softness. If you are still waiting to be chosen, you are still negotiating your worth. If you are still chasing recognition, you are still giving your signal away. If you are still adjusting yourself for acceptance, you are still broadcasting the old timeline. The council does not reward that. They let it collapse. Not as punishment, as protection. Because a timeline built on external validation will always be unstable. One comment can lift you. One silence can break you. One rejection can erase your momentum. That is not coherence. That is volatility. And the council does not initiate what can be dismantled by someone else's opinion. They do not choose potential that still needs permission. They do not choose desire that still needs applause. They choose activation. They choose coherence. They choose emergence. Emergence is what happens when your truth does not bargain, when your intuition does not ask to be believed, when your next step does not require consensus, when your presence stops reaching outward and starts holding shape from within. This is why the strongest signal is quiet. Not weak quiet, sovereign quiet. The quiet that says, I am moving regardless. The quiet that says, I do not need proof to stay aligned. The quiet that says, I am not asking to be chosen. I am becoming undeniable. And if that feels harsh, it is because your old identity was fed by reaction. Your old identity measured itself by attention. Your old identity learned to confuse love with approval. But you are not here to be approved. You are here to stabilize a frequency that cannot be negotiated. So stop treating the council like a gatekeeper. Stop treating selection like a rescue. Stop making your destiny dependent on an outside verdict. Because the moment you stop begging is the moment your signal changes. Your field stops leaking. Your timeline stops wobbling. Your coherence becomes audible. And this is the shift the council recognizes immediately. Not the words you say, the posture you hold. They feel when you no longer perform your power. They feel when you no longer plead for a place. They feel when you no longer trade your truth for acceptance. That is when they lean in. That is when they respond. That is when not chosen dissolves. Because you were never rejected. You are simply broadcasting need. And need is not a signal they choose. Coherence is. This is the moment you stop looking at the council as the cause, and you begin seeing it as the response. Because nothing about your life is being decided above you. It is being reflected back to you. Your timeline moves first, then the council adjusts. You were taught the wrong sequence. You were taught to wait for permission, then become. But the real sequence is the opposite. You become coherent, then the permission appears as an echo. This is why control was never outside of you. It was always in the posture of your field. Not posture as behavior, posture as frequency, posture as what your presence radiates when you stop trying. The council is not a panel of judges. They are not measuring your personality. They are not evaluating your effort. They are reading your stability. They are reading your coherence. They are reading whether your signal holds shape under pressure. And when your signal holds, their behavior shifts. Not because you convinced them, because you changed what is possible to respond to. A scattered field creates scattered outcomes. A dependent field creates delayed outcomes. A performative field creates unstable outcomes. And an aligned field creates inevitability. This is the law you are living inside. The council does not initiate your rise. They confirm it. So the moment you change your posture, everything changes. Not loudly, not instantly, but unmistakably. This is the moment your timeline stops begging the past to make sense. This is the moment your awareness stops collapsing into old roles. This is the moment your energy stops leaking into other people's opinions. And when that happens, the council does what they always do. They respond. They feel the difference between wanting and broadcasting. They feel the difference between hope and coherence. They feel the difference between dreaming and emerging. Because emergence is not an emotion. It is a structure. It is the way your presence becomes consistent. It is the way your truth stops changing to match the room. It is the way your intuition stays louder than your fear even when nothing validates it. And the council listens for that. They do not listen for your words. They listen for your alignment. So if you have been asking, why are they not moving? The answer is not punishment. The answer is precision. They do not move for your urgency. They move for your stability. They move when your frequency stops swinging between versions. They move when your signal stops contradicting itself. This is why the smallest inner shift can create the biggest outer response, because it changes the broadcast, and the broadcast changes the mirror. You will start noticing it as a subtle rearrangement, not as fireworks, as timing changing, as resistance dissolving, as doors that felt sealed becoming strangely easy to open. Not because you forced them, because you stopped pushing. And when you stop pushing, you stop broadcasting need. This is the reversal. You thought the council selects you, and then you become worthy. But worth is not what's being tested. Coherence is. So when you hold your shape, the world starts holding you differently. When you stop reaching outward, things start coming toward you. When you stop negotiating your destiny, destiny stops delaying you. This is the moment you recognize the council's behavior as feedback. If they are distant, your field is divided. If they are silent, your signal is unstable. If they are near, your frequency has become legible. And if they are beginning to lean in, it is because you already shifted. Quietly, invisibly, irreversibly. So do not wait for them to change first. They never do. They respond. You change the posture. Your timeline changes its shape. And the council follows the new signal like gravity. This is not fantasy. This is the pattern underneath your life. This is why everything begins moving the moment you stop asking to be chosen, and you start broadcasting who you already are. This is the activation point. Not a suggestion, a signal. Type this exactly in the comments. I am coherent. Do not change the words. Do not add anything. Do not explain it. I am coherent. As you type it, keep your breath steady. Keep your eyes on the screen. Let your body register the statement before your mind argues with it. I am coherent. This is not for us. This is for your field. This is the moment you stop broadcasting confusion and start broadcasting structure. Type it once, then type it again. I am coherent. I am coherent. You are not asking to be chosen. You are declaring the frequency you are willing to hold. You are placing a marker in your timeline. And if your hands feel hesitant, that is the old identity resisting. Let it resist. Do it anyway. I am coherent. If your mind tries to negotiate, stay simple. If your fear tries to interrupt, stay steady. If your past tries to speak, stay silent. I am coherent. This is the command that stabilizes your signal. This is the imprint that makes your emergence legible. This is the point where your field stops leaking into external validation. Type it now, and then read it back to yourself slowly, not as hope, as fact. I am coherent. And once you have done it, do not scroll away in panic. Stay for the next chapter, because what happens after you activate is not random, it is response. The council is always responding, but it rarely responds in the form your mind demands. Because your mind wants a sign, a door swinging open on command. And when that does not happen, you interpret it as absence. You call it rejection. You call it delay. You call it being ignored. But the council's language is not reassurance. It is resonance. It is pattern. It is pressure shifting in places you cannot name yet. You wanted a response that would calm you. They gave you a response that would change you. Sometimes their response is distance, not to punish you, to show you where your field still reaches outward, to show you where you still need to be held. Sometimes their response is silence, not because they are gone, because your frequency is still speaking in two directions. One voice says you are ready, the other voice keeps returning to the past for permission, and the council does not answer divided signals. Sometimes their response is friction, the sudden resistance, the timing that collapses right before it lands. You thought that meant you were off your path, but it often means you were about to carry the old pattern into the new timeline. And the council will not bless a doorway that leads back into your past. This is why being chosen is not a reward. It is a confirmation that your signal has stabilized enough to hold what comes next. Selection is not a feeling. Selection is reality beginning to mirror your coherence. It shows up as alignment, as timing that no longer resists you, as outcomes responding without you needing to push. And when it doesn't look like that yet, do not collapse into disappointment. Disappointment is not truth. It is expectation grieving. This is the higher acceptance. You stop demanding the response in a specific costume. You stop insisting that the council prove itself to your fear. You stop measuring your evolution by how quickly the outside world applauds it. Because the council is responding right now. In the way your old attachments are losing their grip. In the way your nervous system is learning to stay steady without confirmation. In the way you are becoming less negotiable. You are being chosen every time you do not abandon your signal. Every time you hold coherence in the dark. Every time you refuse to perform for proof. And this is why their response can feel unfamiliar. You expected comfort. They delivered calibration. So redefine what chosen means. Chosen means your frequency is readable. Chosen means your emergence is stable. Chosen means your timeline has stopped collapsing into who you used to be. If you can sit inside the silence without shrinking, that is response. If you can watch the delay without begging, that is response. If you can feel distance without doubting your path, that is response. Because the council is not withholding you. They are shaping the version of you who can hold the yes. This transmission is now sealed. Not because the story is finished, because the version of you who needed permission is finished. What found you here was not content. It was resonance. It was your timeline recognizing itself in a frequency it could no longer ignore. You have crossed a threshold that does not announce itself with noise. It announces itself with irreversibility, with a quiet inner knowing that you cannot return to the old posture without feeling the collapse. From this point forward, you do not seek selection. You embody coherence. You do not ask for signs. You become the signal. And the council will not need to be convinced. They will respond the way all mirrors respond, to what is stable, to what is consistent, to what is finally aligned. Let the old timeline keep trying to call you back. Let it offer comfort. Let it offer familiarity. You have already outgrown the frequency that required those bargains. This is the seal. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are becoming the condition that choice responds to. Hold your field. Hold your shape. Hold the quiet power of not needing proof. Because what you are carrying now is not hope, it is emergence. And emergence does not reverse. This transmission is complete. And your next chapter has already begun. If your field feels the pull after this transmission, do not ignore it. That pull is not curiosity, it is recognition. Because some messages are not meant to be consumed. They are meant to be carried. And when you carry them, your timeline begins to reorganize around a new standard. Most will hear this and move on. They will return to the old frequency within hours. They will call the shift interesting, and then forget it. And that is exactly why they remain in loops. But a few of you will feel something else. A quiet pressure that does not fade. A steady insistence that your signal must be held, not visited. For those of you, there is a space we keep open. Not public, not loud, not for the crowd. A circle where the signal is protected from noise. A circle where coherence is not a concept, but a practice. A circle where your emergence is mirrored back to you with precision. This is not an invitation. This is a doorway that only responds to frequency. If you have to convince yourself, you are not meant to enter. If you feel the pull without needing reasons, you already understand. Because the moment you start holding coherence, your timeline will test you. Not to punish you, to prove what is stable. Old patterns will try to return with familiar names. Old voices will offer you the comfort of shrinking. Old timelines will negotiate with you using nostalgia. And if you do not have a field that is reinforced, you will drift back without noticing. That is why the circle exists. Not to teach you, to keep your signal from collapsing under the weight of your old world. Inside that space, we do not perform, we do not argue, we do not chase signs. We reinforce structure. We return to the same principles until they become embodied. Activation, coherence, emergence. And when your frequency begins to wobble, you will feel it immediately. Not because someone scolds you, because the field is clean enough to reveal the truth. If that feels intense, it is. Because you cannot stabilize a signal while entertaining every distraction. You cannot broadcast evolution while feeding the past. So if your system is craving something deeper than another video, notice that. If your body is calmer right now than it has been in weeks, notice that. If your intuition is saying, "This is not random," notice that. That is the pull. We do not need you to comment your interest. We do not need you to announce yourself. We do not need you to prove anything. The doorway is simple. If your field resonates, you will find it. If your field does not, you will scroll past it without resistance. And that is how it should be. Because the circle is not for those who want to be chosen. It is for those who are done asking. Those who are ready to hold a steady signal even when life goes silent. If you are one of them, you already know what to do next. Not because we told you, because your timeline is leading you. And this is why we will end it here. Not with a call, with a confirmation. You are not seeking your path, you are embodying it. Chapter 2 is not a video, it is a field.